I think there was something like 200 miners died inside this place.
Around
Really?
2,850 feet deep.
Okay.
You're basically in a mountain.
So Fred had an experience that would terrify anyone.
So I'm walking down here. I start hearing footsteps. They were walking fast, and they're walking towards me.
It was important that we would go in and try to figure out what's there and why they are there.
If there was a spirit, let's go back 61 years, the hoist engineer at that point had taken them out of balance. The cage screams down the shaft, 400 feet, slams into 1850. One guy dies instantly.
No one understood why he stepped off the cage. Like, he wasn't supposed to do that.
I'm getting something here, abdomen, blood.
He had that guilt and was still coming back to remind people that he didn't do it.
Not what you think.
Is there somebody standing right here?
I'm Adam Berry,
And I'm Amy Bruni.
and this is Kindred Spirits Inside the Investigation.
So this case was in the Stirling Hill Mine in Ogdensburg, New Jersey. I would have to say this is probably the first mine we ever investigated. Okay,
Welcome.
hi, I'm Amy.
Welcome to Stirling Hill.
Wow.
It's a lot bigger than I imagined.
35 miles of tunnels underground.
Really?
2,850 feet deep.
Okay.
You're basically in a mountain.
Giant labyrinth of mines. We had our work cut out for us.
I don't get scared that easy, but the first time was here.
So Fred was our guide, basically, and he's the one that called us in, and he had had tons of experiences in the space itself.
So I'm walking down here. I start hearing footsteps. They were walking fast, and they're walking towards me.
So Fred had an experience that would terrify anyone. I mean, even when he was telling us the story, I remember being like, nope, that's my worst nightmare. So basically what he said was he was in the mine, and at some point he was hearing footsteps, and then his flashlight went out.
It got really, really cold, and my flashlight went dead. It was unnerving because I couldn't see nothing.
That
But
sounds
my
like a
light came
nightmare.
back on, very dull, enough where I could see and walk out of the mine.
It was important that we would go in and try to figure out what's there and why they are there, and just listen to them.
This is where an angry guy hangs out. He likes to push people.
An angry guy.
Yeah. I've had a couple of people that got pushed here.
Wow. The powder room was where people would pick up their dynamite to go and blow things up inside a cave.
There was a lot of weird stuff going on here. I was sitting here, and we're all hanging out talking, and at the corner of my eye, I see something. I look up, and right around the bend, there's this gray face. It looked like dark gray smoke. He had a beard, and he had a hat. And then my whole body got full of, it felt like electricity.
Weird.
My legs went numb, and it was really creepy.
The office area is unique, and I know that Fred had a ton of experiences there, and he thought that the spirits in that space interacted with him, and that it would be easy for us to interact with them in that space.
Is there somebody standing right here? Like, I feel like somebody's standing right here.
So there was a point where we were in that area where the shaft, where they would catch the elevator down, the cage down into the shaft. And we watched a shadow figure basically come out to the side and look at us and then look away. And it's as though someone is just kind of standing at the edge of that opening and kind of rocking out and then rocking back in. Who's down there?
We had to rely a lot on personal experiences.
We didn't want Chip to know that he was going into a mine. And so what we did is we had him blindfolded and we drove him into the back building and brought him into the office first. We'll just start with this area and you can kind of just walk this way. And it was great to bring him in cold. He did pick up on things in the office space.
Not responsible, do not blame me. You want a piece of me, I'll give it to you. Very defensive, almost defensive to the point of going on the offense.
He picked up on people that were just very dedicated to the mine, spirits that were still working, still feeling the need to be there, which made a lot of sense because every miner we met in association with the investigation had that exact same mentality.
Hi, are you Doug?
I am.
Hi, I'm Amy.
Hello, Amy.
We are going to meet up with a gentleman named Doug, who actually was a miner in the Stirling Hill Mine for a number of years.
And his input was imperative because we needed to know what mine life was like so that we could kind of draw on that information as we investigated.
Were there any like notable accidents or incidents that you can remember?
If there was a spirit, if there was some entity that needed closure or to be able to move on, let's go back 61 years, 1958. They're shutting down the old shaft. So they're decommissioning it. They were taking it apart, taking all the useful stuff and doing whatever with it. Two guys riding the cage, unloading the stuff on the surface, coming back down, getting another load. The hoist engineer at that point had taken them out of balance, which you never do. The cage screams down the shaft, 400 feet, slams into 1850. One guy dies instantly.
No one understood why he stepped off the cage. Like, he wasn't supposed to do that. And so they never really like pinpointed it on him per se, but there was a lot of talk about him. And so he was really the person who came through for us when we were investigating near that mine shaft, just kind of denying that he had anything to do with it. And it makes sense because we believe in the idea of like classic unfinished business.
Do we know if someone died in this area?
We do know.
Was it something bloody? Because I'm getting blood. I don't know, I'm getting something here, abdomen, like, oh, push.
And that someone would be coming back to be like, hey, I had nothing to do with this. He had that guilt with him through life and was still coming back to remind people that he didn't do it.
Who's disgruntled about us even being in the space.
What the?
Oh, it's
No.
No.
And all of a sudden, the power went out to the entire mine. The lights would just kind of like flicker and like they were pulsating. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I remember Chip Coffey was terrified. He wanted to go back to the hotel. He was done for the night. He was like, and even the next day, he was still freaked out. But we got our answer. Like when that happened, we were like, okay, we're on the right path here.
They're trying to turn the lights out on us. Yes, is what they're trying to do.
Light. This, whoever this is who does not want us to know more of this information, is like, how do I get you out of a mine? How do I prevent you from doing anything else in a mine?
They turn off the lights.
Right.
Get out.
When we were able to kind of tie everything together and bring it back to this cage operator, that just made a lot of sense to them. That like, okay, here's this man who was maybe responsible for this accident, but he still feels guilty and is coming back to kind of like clear the air and say he didn't do it and declare his innocence.
So when we brought Chip in, he picked up on someone who felt like they had been blamed for an accident that they did not do, or they did make a mistake, but they're denying it.
And so that's when we started thinking, was there someone involved in that accident happened in the old mine shaft? At the end of the day, it was just really important for the folks at the mine to feel like it was safe for people to go in there and that they weren't gonna encounter some sort of crazy paranormal activity. And I think we were able to answer that for them.
So each of us are gonna write something. It could be to Frank, it could be to any miner that may have perished.
To all the miners who have worked and perished here, you are not forgotten. Thank you.
I think we've given Frank a platform now. We know he's here, he knows he's being heard, and those things together, maybe over time, will kind of help him come to terms and become at peace with what happened here.
We always try to do something that shows respect to those that we had been speaking to. And I think in this case, leaving flowers at the top of the shaft where the cage crashed was something that we could do in our way to show respect and to, let them know that we hear you, your story is being told, and whatever happened has happened. It's in the past, but we're never gonna forget.
Thanks for watching, and for more Kindred Spirits content, head to Travel Channel Go.